So this is about using assistive technology devices and strategies for a math lesson. This is a math lesson about ways to make 10 or addition to the sum of 10. It's a first grade math lesson, so it targets students performing on a first grade level. And a couple of the Virginia standards that it addresses are recognize and describe with fluency part-whole relationships for numbers up to 10, and demonstrate fluency with addition and subtraction within 10. The materials that are going to be needed for this lesson are a smartboard projector, laptop with smart notebook, teacher, and if possible for students also, Velcro dots, cardstock, laminator and laminating film, tactile manipulatives like counting blocks or circular counters, pencil and paper, and dry erase markers. The procedures for this lesson are going to be to begin by bringing students over to the carpet or the smartboard area and showing an introductory video. Then keep the students there and transition into the online product, the smartboard interactive activity. This can be done, the smartboard interactive activities, most of it will be there at the smartboard with the students at the carpet. Now, there are a few activities on there that can be done by each student at their seats or at the laptop center or laptop table with their own laptops if they have them, or those activities can be done at the carpet if that's not an option. Then that'll transition into the offline product. The offline product is basically a continuation of this math lesson and another way of presenting the material, as I'll show you when I show the online and offline products. But it's a picture hands-on activity book. And then finally conclude with an assessment activity. Now, the online product, some of the adaptations that have been made there are a few for students with visual difficulties. There are sound clips to match all the written words and phrases in the online activity, large font for students with visual difficulties, and contrast colors. Some adaptations that are in place for students with learning disabilities is that there's a lot of review of prerequisite skills, a lot of visual examples, and virtual manipulatives are used. So let me show you the online activity. So this is full screen, ways of making 10. So here are a few review examples. Just various ways of making 10. And now here's a talk to partner activity where the students can talk to each other and come up with various ways of making 10. Alright, and now here is another reminder activity about counting to 10, using the number line to count to 10. They can use the manipulative here to go between the numbers, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 10. Another reminder activity or the review of prerequisite skills on how to use a tens frame. So they can just slide each counting block over to the tens frame. And then they can see from that that 3 plus 2 is 10. Oh, also let me show you the sound adaptations. You click on the sound icon here. Reminder. How to use a tens frame. I don't know how well that came through on the video, but it read the entire, everything that's written up here. Alright, does this make 10? So it shows clearly that it does because the counters fill all the spots on the tens frame. This magnifying glass can be used to look up and see here that yes, it does make 10, so the students can check their work. It also employs contrast colors, just like here it had the contrast colors on the magnifying glass are orange to light blue, and the contrast colors on most of this are black writing to light blue background. And the reason to make those accommodations are for students with visual impairments. Alright, the next activity, does this make 10? It doesn't because all the spots on the tens frame aren't filled. So move the magnifying glass up here and you can see the answer no up there. Alright. Does this make 10? Students can move the virtual manipulatives in there on their own. They can do this on their own laptop if they have it, or a student can come up to the smartboard and do it there as we're moving all the blocks in. You can see that there are only 9 of them, so it won't fill the tens frame, so this doesn't make 10. And the magnifying glass will show that too. Alright, does this make 10? So move all the blocks up here. And we can see that as we're moving the last of them in here that this will make 10 because it fits every block on the tens frame. The students can check with the magnifying glass. Yes, it does. Alright, does this make 10? So here is another place where the students can work on their own laptops after doing the example on the previous page. And here we'll just do the first one, 6 plus 4. So I'll move 6 gray counters over here, and after I'm finished with the 6 gray counters, I'll move over 4 red ones. And then I can check with the magnifying glass, and yes, it does make 10. And then here, all of them are in here whether they make 10 or not. Alright, here's another new skill page. Which tens fact is this? So students can figure this out by counting the number of red blocks. Well, there are 4 red blocks. I'm doing the first one. And 6 gray blocks. So that must be 4 plus 6. They can check their work by clicking the box here or clicking on the sound icon. 4 plus 6. Alright, and here's a page of activities that go along with the last example page. We'll just do the first one. So up here, it looks like there are 7 gray ones and 3 red ones, so that's 7 plus 3. So drag that fact up here, and then they can check it by moving this up or clicking on the sound icon. 7 plus 3. Alright, here is how can we make 10? 6 plus what makes 10? So we can start by moving over 6 of the gray counters. I just realized I can do this. I could have done this with an infinite cloner. But anyway, 6 gray counters from here. And then how many spaces are left? There are 4 spaces left. Move over the 4 red ones. So that would be 6 plus 4 makes 10. And we can check that by the magnifying glass or clicking on the sound icon. 4. And then another activity that students could do using their laptops, we'll do one of them, figure out what number is missing in the tens fact. So here are 8 gray counters for 8 plus what. Move up, we see that it's 2 red ones. So students can check their answer by removing the orange box. And then on here are just some extension activities. Now going to come back here. And these are the adaptations made for the offline activity. So let's take a look. For students with visual difficulties, there's color contrast. It's black writing on a white background and large font. For students with learning disabilities, there are a lot of reviews of prerequisite skills. The written words in the activity book are represented by pictures, as I'll show you when we get to the offline activity. There are a lot of visual examples and tactile manipulatives. Also, for students with limited mobility, there's same-side Velcro dot between the pages to make them a little easier to turn. Now to take a look at the pictures of the offline activity. So here you can see the pictures for each of the words, add to equal 10. These are the Velcro dots. There's two of the soft sides opposite each other to make the pages a little easier for students with limited mobility to turn. And then here you can see in a larger picture of the book. Alright, so it starts just like with the online activity, a review of counting to 10. And then it goes on to making 10 with a tens frame. So you see the tens frame. And then here it is with the 10 counters velcroed into it. Can we make 10? So we use the counters to check and see. And the answer is no, we can't, because we don't have enough counters. Can we make 10 here? Let's check with the counters. Yes, we can. Alright, now matching the tens frame to the appropriate tens fact. And here we have a tens frame that already has 4 circle counters in it. And then what do we need in this tens fact to make 10? And then here we have tens fact with the missing addend, and matching the addend to the appropriate tens fact. And I just want to go over, I forgot to show, this was the introductory video. I was going to play a clip of it back here.
He looked at me and laughed, said I only used the 10, so you better add things fast. I reached into the treat box and pulled out 9 more treats. I dropped them in his dog bowl, said I hope you like these eats.
So this goes through all the tens facts.
Counted treats again. My dog was good at math. He knew 1 plus 9 is 10. 1 plus 9 is 10. 1 plus 9 is...
So it does that for each tens fact. And that's it.